Today on Switch to Linux, we will talk about Firefox AI and what that browser can actually do if it really has an interest in saving itself. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Of course, we like talking about free and open source software, and when we get into browsers, right now there really are only two widely available browser engines, those being Chromium, of which Chrome is based, also Brave and Vivaldi, and a number, pretty much every other browser out there. And you also have Firefox. Now, there's a few other ones. There's, is it WebKit, I think, is what Apple uses. That's, Safari is now limited to Mac devices. And there is a new one that is coming up. Is that one Ladybird, I think is the name of it? So there is a new one in the works, and a lot of people are excited about that. But the thing about Firefox is it is the browser engine, the only one of the browser engines that is viable on all devices that is completely open source. Now, Chromium, Chromium is open source, but it is owned and Google has its fingers inside of it a whole lot. And so while technically using the Chromium engine is not using Google specifically, it would be nice to have a couple of good, solid, viable browser options. And unfortunately, what has happened over the course of the last couple of decades is Firefox, which had a very large base initially, of course, out of Mozilla. I believe they were the ones behind Netscape, if I'm remembering my history correctly. And then, you get the Mozilla browser, and then Firefox launched out. And ever since Firefox launched, I have used it. Way back, version 1, I used that thing. And that has been my primary browser for years and years and years. But with where the direction of Firefox is going, I am not too far from actually making a switch and completely ditching Firefox everywhere. And that's sad because I have always been a strong advocate for Firefox, even when they seem to have lost their ever-loving mind and go in weird directions. And unfortunately, right now, they are in an area, in a way where they are doing the same thing. They are going in weird directions. They are not listening to their users. And for years, they have been wondering why their percentage use has went from super high and down and down and down and down. Now it's like 3% of internet usage is Firefox, roughly, depending on which stats you're looking at. Even though Firefox is the default web browser on most Linux distributions, not even every Linux person uses it now. A few distributions are actually replacing Firefox and going in different directions because of a lot of the things Mozilla is doing. And so Mozilla is struggling and fighting for relevancy. It's fighting to survive. It's fighting to be the browser that people want to go to, but they are so blind, deaf, dumb, and stupid. And they don't have to be. I'm going to talk about what I think they need to do in this video and where they're going. Of course, they have a new CEO. Of course, one of their problems is I think they're paying their CEO way too much for a project like Mozilla. They stop trying to be like Apple and Google. And there is data out there, and I didn't look it up. It's not particularly relevant, just kind of throwing it out there. A new CEO comes in. Now, what's important here is not how much he's paid. What's important is he jumps into Firefox and says, Firefox will evolve into an AI browser. And then you check comment sections of every possible place that has been posted, from Firefox's own website down to every tech thing that has reported on this. And you look in the comments and everybody's saying, please don't. I even left a comment over on Twitter and I was like, if you actually do this, I am removing Firefox. And I have been using Firefox since the day it came out. Please, Firefox, listen. Now, we have to address this factor that AI is something that is here, unfortunately. But that does not mean you have to cram AI in every corner of the world. Because how does one use AI? Well, you're either using an app or you are using a web page. I am perfectly capable of bookmarking a web page when I want to go to that web page. I have been experimenting with open source, locally hosted AI models. Guess what? I can access all of those by going to a web page on my network. Yay! I do not need or want an AI integration, because integrating these things in could potentially be dangerous, because all of this code is in there to allow whatever's going on that browser to accidentally or on purpose somehow trickle its way back to these companies, which would want to do nothing more than harvest up every bit of data you are doing. So turning on an AI tool inside of the browser itself is a dangerous prospect, particularly for a web browser that wants to be on the forefront of privacy. Now, they have it right to say choice, but they don't have a choice right now to say, I don't want any of this crap at all. It's, how would you like to share all of your data with the internet, even though we are a privacy company? And honestly, I don't even know if right now it works with a llama. I'm not sure. It might, to be fair. I didn't dig into it that deep because I wanted to talk here more about the peripheral, what's going on with the commentary and what people are saying than the actual technical feature itself. But what he does say here is that they want to merge AI into it, and effectively what this is going to look like is you're going to have the option to embed whatever AI tool you want to use. Now, that's the good part, is it's not like Edge kind of forces your Copilot, and a lot of these other browsers are forcing one of them. I think Chrome is doing Gemini now from Google. Everybody is using their own. Firefox says, hey, whichever one of these you want, you just sign in and accept it. Now, to be fair, the AI, like the tools are sort of, they exist, but they're in sort of like a disabled state until you activate them. I'm still concerned that malware might be able to activate those. And that's a concern if the code is in the browser at all. But of course, the new CEO comes over and he's like, AI's coming. Oh, and another thing they're doing is where you go over and you say, new tab, new private window. Now they're going to do a new AI window. How wonderful. And the problem is he's taken this over and he's launched all this, and there's like, this is the direction we're going. This is going to make AI, or going to make Firefox relevant again. Till you look at the comments, and universally look at the comments. It's either self-sabotage or a planted agent to destroy the last non-Google browser. Yeah, everyone's freaking out, but this guy seems very grounded. Implementing AI browser doesn't mean everything you do today is going to have AI flower baked in. It just means there'll be something in the top right corner like an extension to invoke it. This guy sees nothing wrong with it. This might actually, of all the comments I read, this might actually be the most positive and the only positive comment I've read. So the new CEO is completely and totally unaware of what Firefox stands for, why people use Firefox, and what would cause people to stop using it. Got it. Waterfox is particularly thoughtful response in terms. We'll look at that in a brief moment. This response to the article trending on Reddit, F off. Might be a great idea, making Firefox into cutting-edge browser. Be nice if the videos actually loaded on all websites and played smoothly. But AI is still science fiction. All right. And so if you read through these are all almost all negative comments on this, and this is universally. I mean, I have not seen so much lambasting since everybody in the WordPress community told Matt Mullenweg to stop it with the Gutenberg block editor. And what did he do? He didn't care and forced it on everybody every way. And now the number one browser, or the number one WordPress plugin, gets rid of the crap that they crammed into it. And that is unfortunately where they are going. And so looking at OMG Ubuntu, Mozilla's new CEO confirms that Firefox will become an AI browser. So as Enzor Di Mio commits to keeping Firefox as an anchor for the company, but confirms it's evolved to a modern AI browser, chiefly to unlock a more diverse set of revenue opportunity for the company as its market share declines. And he's going to realize really quick that you can't get any revenue from people that have stopped using your browser because people don't want this. But there is a good, solid solution. My snarky explainer on Mozilla's AI, rewiring to AI, where year-on-year revenue increases from AI features for on the part of companies who double bottom line, touched on reasons on why the growing glut of AI in Firefox is more about C-suite comfort than a cattle class, i.e. us. Okay, the strategy hinges in part on upcoming AI Window, which offers a prompt-driven interface powered by a cloud AI provider of your choice, where you type questions, not URLs, and machine mediated summaries what a human is said to have written, rather than, as you're doing now, what a human actually wrote. So AI features will be opt-out. Now, this is one of the things of so much negativity has come out to this. And there's already guides online. If you just kind of go into looking up, in fact, let's just do that right now. Firefox disable all AI. Okay, so if you want to do this, and there's a lot of, let's see if this one covers it or not. There is an official Firefox paste, but you need to go into your about config, screw off. All right. You need to go into your about config, and you need to find all of these instances and change all of these into false. So yes, probably expect a new hardening guide sometime as we set a policy to do this. You can disable all in policy. My big problem with this is that, number one, this just kind of disables a lot of the back-end stuff, but there's still like a right click, and there's like a search with AI menu item in there on your context menu, and these didn't get rid of that. There's still a bunch more hunting around I had to do. You actually had to go into that menu, hover over that AI thing, and there's an option down there to turn it off, curiously. You have to go into the thing you don't want to turn off the thing you don't want. Very interesting indeed. And so you had a lot of those, and this kind of gets rid of most of it. But again, that's not particularly friendly. And so what people are saying here is, hey, rather than having to do this or having these lengthy tutorials or have to work with policies, what about just having an option to turn it off? And this is what they ultimately came out and said, is that they said they will now have an AI kill switch to completely disable all AI features. Now, even this, I bet that kill switch will just toggle those things off. The problem I have is there's still this unnecessary code I don't want inside my browser. And what has ended up happening is a lot of the browsers which are based on Firefox have come out, nearly all of them taking anti-AI approaches, which I think is the right way to go. Not because I'm 100% thoroughly, totally, no AI should ever be anywhere, but my point is it should always be a choice. Not which AI would you like to use, as Firefox is implementing, but would you like to have it at all? So in my opinion, and here's kind of the hinge of this. In my opinion, Firefox needs to have absolutely nothing related to AI in the browser at all. And then they develop another team of people which does nothing but builds an extension that if I want AI in the browser, I can install one official Mozilla-owned extension that adds all of these tools right back in with simple toggle on and off controls. This way, there is no potentially vulnerable AI-based code into the browser itself, which also means the browser is faster, lighter, and a lot smaller. And that system itself would do absolutely everything you need to do. It will be able to search the internet, which is the function of a web browser. And then if I want an AI tool, an AI window, an AI search, an AI summary, I can very easily install an official Mozilla plugin, which adds all of this extra code. That way you have Mozilla without it. And then you also have all of the plugins there. Now, some people have said, some of these other browser maintainers have said, yes, we're going to continue to ship it without AI as long as Firefox keeps on coding the browser the way they're doing, where all AI is under one resource tab in the source code, so they can simply get the, fork the code and then just delete that folder. But some companies have said, if they have to hunt and search for where the AI is at to remove it from the browser, it becomes a cat and mouse game finding where the code is, they might just abandon it altogether. And so that is what Mozilla needs to do. They need to strip all AI function out of the browser itself, dedicated a separate team specifically to running an extension. And then with that extension, then what they need to do is they need to be able to install that, and that will give somebody that wants the agentic browser, that's what they need to do. While they're at it, I still think they should do another one which does nothing but basic website interface, no possibility for notifications or microphones or anything else. That's a browser I'd really get behind. They do it for mobile. I don't know why they can't do it for a desktop as well. So there is what they need to do. But I did want to leave you with alternatives if you do not want to go to a Chromium-based browser, but you're not into the AI. Now, the first is that a number of people actually emailed me or sent me messages, a whole number of people. I got it all over the place. Oh, look at WaterFox. It's a new AI browser. Well, this is not a new browser. And I'll be honest with you, I don't trust them. All right. Now, the source code itself is sound. You can audit it. The problems I have with WaterFox is they had announced themselves as a privacy browser, and I did a number of videos on this browser, half a decade ago, a long time. This has been around for a while. The problem is I can't tell how many people are actually behind the browser. It would appear there's one primary person behind it, although on their GitHub page there are a number of contributors to the code. But there's nothing on the site that tells us exactly who is behind it, exactly how many people. We don't have any instance of who the team is. And the biggest problem I have with this browser is at one point in time in its past, shortly after I and other people did videos promoting how amazing WaterFox was, they sold to one of the most privacy invasive companies that is on the internet that makes Google and Microsoft look like privacy advocates. That was a company called System One. They are a data analytics and marketing company which collects as much potential data as possible in order to share information. It is the same company that did which I still disagree with, an advertising deal with StartPage, but StartPage just worked with them as a collaborator. WaterFox sold to them. Now, they have since become independent again. So the person left System One, came back, and the problem I have is once this guy sold off for money once, I just don't trust it because there are other options out there. I don't know exactly he tells us who he is, and you follow him on GitHub. That's fine. Again, I don't think there's anything nefarious in the code. It's just there's been a past history with this browser that means I have a much higher bar to trust what WaterFox is doing. Now you have Zen browser. This is another one that's actually on my list to look at, also based on Firefox and also takes a no AI approach. And so this one here, and there are actually a lot of adjustments and customizations. There's a workspaces mode, there's a compact mode, there's a glance mode. So there's a lot of different things in here. Again, I have not actually looked at this one before, but it's been on my radar and I will probably look at it soon, especially if Mozilla keeps on going down the path it's going down. We also, though, have, if you go down and have a look at their, they do have a page here with their teams. It's on here somewhere. Zen team. Is that it? Yeah. So here is we actually have information about who the team is behind the browser, the website, and the branding. So there are a lot of people, and we can see there's a lot more than one guy with some GitHub collaborators. Okay. Then you have Malvad browser. This is also based on Firefox. Now, Malvad is a little bit interesting in that it really is designed as an anti-fingerprinting, and really it's kind of based on the same type of general approach that Tor uses. In fact, this is a collaboration between the Malvad VPN company and the Tor Browser Association. They've built this browser that you cannot actually add or remove extensions to it because effectively every person using Malvad on the internet looks like every other person on Malvad using the internet. It is the same approach that Tor does. So the idea of it is to make everybody look identical online. And there are the downsides. It's not as versatile. You can't add you can't make it your own. It does have some add-ons, not just for Malvad VPN, but you can easily add a VPN to the browser as well. So there are some things, and I've actually done some videos on this, but Malvad is another option based on Firefox. I've not heard specifically one way or the other about AI, but with the general approach that both these companies take, I'm pretty sure it's remaining AI free. And LibreWolf is the last one. This is actually the auxiliary browser I have on all my systems. This one I do have installed almost everywhere, and I do use it for things periodically. It's just not my main browser yet. It might become, I don't know. But this one here is also developed by a larger team of people, and it really is focused on taking the Firefox source code. They do strip out the AI, and they make this browser a lot more security hardened, even to the point that if you're using this, you appear to be a Windows user to people using this. If you run this through a fingerprinting tool through LibreWolf, you appear as a Windows user. So they even obfuscate your operating system, which also leads me to believe as more people use this, that looks like that Linux usage might drop. It might actually be that Linux usage is going up. It's just good tools like this, and Malvad might do the same thing. They kind of skew those numbers a little bit, which is actually a good thing. So those are some of the alternatives that you have. And if you are concerned about AI, I would consider any of those four. I just throw that asterisk onto Waterfox because they have some past history that some people may not be aware of. And I did videos. If you go onto my channel and there's that little search thing and you type in Waterfox, you can see I've done a dozen videos on Waterfox in the past, from advocating it to, oh no, it's sold, to, hey, it's independent again. But since then, and other choices coming out like LibreWolf, I've just stuck with the other alternatives instead. I'm not saying Waterfox is bad. I would not say stop using it. I just say use it with caution, that it's a smaller team and they have a past that was compromised. So I just want to throw that out there, just so everyone is aware for my own integrity. So let me know your thoughts about all that. Are you excited about AI being crammed into Firefox, or would that finally be the thing, like me, would that finally be the thing that gets you to change? And how do we possibly let Mozilla know, stop it? I mean, we have already filled up every article about it with comments, and their own website with comments to say this is a dumb idea, and their best thing is, hey, we're going to have a toggle button for it off. Well, that's better than nothing, but the code shouldn't be there at all. That's my thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.